Alright, Bonehawks, this video is all about Mortal Kombat 1. This is the final installment of the Beginner's Guide series. So, I want you to take a second and give yourself a pat on the back, because great job. You set out to learn some stuff, and hopefully you did. And now I would say you're ready for the intermediate guides that are coming up next, but you've made it through the beginner ones, and yeah, I'm proud of you. You stuck it through, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But we're not done yet. One last video. How to use practice mode effectively. Let's go.
Accept your death.
So the first thing that you should learn to navigate is your moves list. Start moves list. And yeah, so we have our different ones all on the top here. I've had a couple questions from people asking, how do you know what moves you can do in the air? Now, if you'll see here, it says normal attacks. I don't know why I'm pointing. I'm not even going to get close to up there. Normal attacks. And then it has all the listed. You see it on the left-hand side there. Scroll down, we're going to see another gray bar here. And for Shang Tsung, this is just his young form. So that's all the moves that he can do in his young form. Then we have old form, which is all the moves he can do in his old form. Next one is aerial attacks. So these are the ones that you can do in the air. So these all start with jump, which is why it says up and forward. So yeah, we can do up, square, triangle, triangle. So we're actually going to test that out right now by setting our opponent to a jump. So we are going to go to opponent settings. Yeah, I had my menus confused there. So we're going to go start opponent type. We're going to go movement mode. So this controls what they do, whether they stand, whether they duck, forward, jump backwards. So we're just going to jump right up in the middle. Just to remind ourselves, we're going to go back to our moves list, go down to what the aerial attack is. We want to do this one right here. We're going to try and practice timing our jump. There we go. Alright, see, there we go, easy as that. We've successfully labbed our aerial attacks. That can be a fun thing to lab movement and that kind of thing. So again, movement mode, so we had stand, duck, so maybe I want to see, does a move hit them? These ones just completely whiff if he's ducking. Oh yeah, there's my overhead, right there. And it tells you in your moves list, we've been over this. Yeah, you can set them to whatever you want to test different things. You can see if, like, for example, all three of those are highs, so they just whiff. Nothing hits them. This, on the other hand, will. Out of all the characters I had, like, that I was so excited to play with, I ended up on Shang Tsung. I have no idea why, but that's just how my brain works. You can set them to different things too, so I'll give you an example of something that I was working on. So with block type normal, just means he's not going to flawless block or any stuff like that. So stand. So I wanted to see how much damage I was getting off of this combo starter here. But I didn't want to include the first hit because most of the time the combo only starts at the second hit when there's a low in there. So that's why I wanted him blocking standing high, and just to get hit by the low attack so I can get like an accurate depiction of exactly what the combo damage was going to be. And you can do that vice versa if you have a string that has an overhead in it. Say you know your opponent is going to block the first hit or two of it, but you just want to see the third one. You know, or what damage is off the third one. So that's kind of where you'd use that for. It's important to know the different block types too. You kind of do a good job of explaining them to you, but I like to give you an example just in case. So block off, obviously your opponent won't be blocking, they won't block anything. Clock them one, maybe you're just having a bad day, you want to take it out on Kung Lao, sure, come in here and just punch him in the face a couple times. You can set it to block mode all, which is exactly the opposite. You're not going to be able to hit him with anything other than throw, because throws can't be blocked. That just double drop kick kills me. Auto block. So this means that you say you want to test a setup or something like that. This would be the perfect thing to do. So you hit your opponent with whatever, and they will attempt to block whatever the next thing is that you throw at them with, within a certain time frame. I waited way too long there. I forgot that I have to charge Shujinkydink first before I. There you go. So Kung Lao block. So if they don't have time to block, they won't. So that's a good thing to, if you think you have some sort of crazy setups that like maybe you can skirt their blocking, This would be a good way to test that, but yeah. They're going to be hit by a string, and then they're just going to try to block whatever you throw at them next. Stance means they're only going to block in how you put them, so we have him on stand. Well, that means overheads, highs, and mids will be blocked. Blows will not. Kind of the first thing I was talking about with labbing different, like, combos and getting accurate damage and that kind of thing. I have a couple things here. Throw escape, breaker mode. So if you want to test, maybe come up with some combos that are unbreakable, this would be kind of the mode to do it in. So can't break any of these. Can't break any of that. So there's 100 damage unbreakable. Not big damage, but if it comes down to the end of the round and your opponent has a breaker on deck and you manage to hit an unbreakable combo, it can be game-changing. So keep that in mind. Definitely something to know and figure out if your character has any of those. Then we have the get-up modes. So get-up delay. If you didn't know this, you can delay wake-up by holding L2 when you get knocked on the ground. This can actually cause some setups to be completely nullified. A lot of the ones I've seen with Goro, for example, his stomp, if you just delay your wake-up, a lot of the times his stomp will just completely whiff on you. So that's good to know in certain matchups, and you can test that, you know, especially with your setups. And maybe you're the person using Goro, and you're like, blah, blah, blah. I'm testing this setup, and then you set Kung Lao to delay wake up, and then your setup doesn't work. Like, it looks like it works fine, and you're doing everything good, and then as soon as you delay the wake up, it kills the setup. So that's important to know. That's where I would use that. And then different get up types. So if you want to test like the armor on something or whatnot, so let's go with this. Oh. Had to turn the delay off. Let's see if I can uppercut it. Alright, now I'm going to test and see if my move, that's my armored move, if I can get enough hits in to break his armor. Which I can't, but what if I use my armored version of it? Ooh, it beats it out. Interesting. Let me time that a little bit better. There we go. That's more like it. We got the multi-hits, my armor. Oh, that time he beat mine! Well, this is the kind of thing that you would lab. I'm actually going to work on that later. That's kind of interesting. And you can have it random, so if you just want to test your reactions and be like, okay, yeah, you can do that too. And what else do we have here? Reversal mode. So this means that your opponent will perform a reversal after blocking your attacks. So let's see, let's do that exact same thing. So let's do boom, boom, boom. Ooh, see? Because there was a gap in that string, Kung Lao was able to armor through that gap. So take that in your own consideration here. There is a gap in this string. You can use armor to get through that gap. Those are the kinds of things, see? Say I want to test one of my other strings here. So let's go with, let's take a long one here. No gap in that one, nope. See if we can find another gap here. We're finding gaps. This is how we find them. Let's do old man. Nope, no gap at all on that long string. The gap there. That's not what I meant to do. So that's how you test gaps in strings, and armor is really good in this game. So let's talk about armor quickly, actually, because, you know, this is the last one, and armor is definitely something that you should know about. So a move that has armor absorbs one hit before it can be broken. So, like we said with Kung Lao here, if I try to do like a... Yeah, so you see I tried to do a move. Here, the armor had a little ding sound, which it ate the move. The move still does damage, so armor does not negate damage, so keep that in mind. I have died many times when I have a sliver of health left and I armor, not realizing that, oh right, I don't have the health, and someone can still just smack you out of it. So you can use an armored move on Wake Up as well. They're actually a really good Wake Up option. If someone knocks you down, wake up with the armored move. If you want to know what your armored move is, go into your moves list. It'll be a special move. Click on the advanced view, and in the bottom, where my fat head is, has armor. So that's how you know where your armored move is. That's how I found out where Kung Lao's armored move is. And yeah, use it for wake-up attacks. You can use it to counter a move. Like let's say Kung Lao's like coming in hot, and I'm just kind of staying back, and I'm just boom, throw my armor in to knock him out of whatever he's trying to do, right? So armor has many uses. Learn them all. Blowing up gaps and strings, just getting in, countering somebody's attack. Armors are fantastic moves. Just know, if you realize in the bottom there, it will take up a bar of your super meter. So keep that in mind. You need to have super meter in order to do an armored move. Any questions about armor, leave them in the comments down below. Be sure to respond. Going into your practice settings, so this is where I found out how Kung Lao has armor. I went Control Player 2. Once you save that, you can go into Kung Lao's move list. You go here, Advanced View, as armor. That's if you wanted to lab against his armored move. We don't want to play as him right now. Remember, settings is good for some things. This just won't default back to practice mode options when you leave and come back in. So remember everything that you had set up. So let's say you always want to play with your super meter and your cameo gauge refill every single time, and that's never going to change for you. Remember settings, and then you have to actually come in and manually change it, but it's going to start out like that to begin with. I have things by default set to refill, just because I find it's the easiest thing for me to lab things on. I just remembered this. I've been asked this a couple times. How do you reset your practice mode? Like go from like here back to here, you know, like here back to here. On PlayStation, it's the touchpad. On Xbox, I believe it's this button here, I think. I haven't booted this game up on Xbox yet. I have it for all consoles, but I haven't booted it up on Xbox, so someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's pretty sure that's what it was for MK11, so it makes sense to be the same one for MK1. Anyways, a little sidetracked here. Fighter position, this is an important one if you're working on, say, corner combos or something like that. So we could go reset position to the right. Now we're in the right corner, so every time, say, you mess up your combo, you don't have to reset and move all the way back, you know. Reset, puts it right back in the corner. And likewise, if you want labbing getting out of the corner, you just put player 1 position to the right. Now you're in the corner, haha! Practicing your defense or whatever. Say we want Kung Lao right next to us. We're just gonna give him a little smooch. You look beautiful today. Appreciate you. Except we don't want to do that, because we're like, whoa, buddy. Friends here. Go full screen. Stay away from me, though. Practice things that way. And then you can do it vice versa on the other side. I'll show you just for gigs. Now we're in the other corner. And we'll switch around. It's important, by the way, when you're practicing combos, to practice your combos on both sides, player 2 side and player 1 side, because you're not always going to be on the player 1 side. Sometimes things happen. All it takes is one back throw, and you're on the wrong side of history. He threw escape. What? I was trying to prove a point there. See? That was just for principle. You can change how your life bar works. So I could go and give myself 1% health if I wanted to. And this is how you would practice your Fatal Blow combos, because you only have your Fatal Blow when you're under 300 damage. You would need to put yourself down at that lower health in order to practice your Fatal Blows. Sometimes it's easier if you just do that, than like switch to Kung Lao and beat up player 1 and switch back. None of that. And likewise, if you wanted to have same as player 1, or 100, that kind of a thing. So in addition to being a practice mode tutorial, we're kind of going over everything that we haven't talked about yet, and the Fatal Blow is actually one of them, and it just works nicely to kind of move everything in, you know? So your Fatal Blow is like a super move, and you get it when you're below 300 health, and basically it just does one big damage combo, as long as your opponent does not block it. Don't need to execute, you just press both the triggers. And you have to have your cameo available as well. And I don't mean available like cameo meter full. I mean like you can't have just used the cameo. Like the cameo can't be like running off the screen. You have to have them kind of in the background, ready to go. Then you can use your Fatal Blow. Over 300 damage with really no effort. So just kind of a comeback mechanism. I don't mind it. I kind of wish you just had like a one and done version of it, because if you throw it out and it whiffs, there's a cooldown on it. And we're just seeing that it's kind of blacked out right now, but eventually it comes back and starts flashing again and tells you it's available. So I don't really like that feature for that much damage. It should be just like a throw it at your own risk kind of a thing, but it is what it is, and it's a feature that's in this game. You can also use a breaker on the first hit of a Fatal Blow. So someone hits you with the Fatal Blow, you can use your breaker if you have your breaker available. Combo breaker uses 3 bars of meter, and you need to have your cameo available in order to do it. And again, cameo meter doesn't have to be full. The cameo just can't have just been on the screen. But so as expensive as it is 3 bars of meter, sometimes that can mean like, you know, you're dodging a 40% combo, you know, by using your combo breaker. So there isn't a visual indicator of when you have it. You just kind of have to know that you have it available. To perform your combo breaker, you press forward and block when you are getting hit by an opponent. I'll show you an example here. I'll set Kung Lao to hit me with a combo and I will break it. So another nice thing about practice mode is you can go in and you can actually record your opponent doing something very, very specific, which is what we want to do here. We want to practice using our combo breaker. So we're going to go opponent type, and we're going to go playback recording, down to recording 1. We're going to press X to record. Now we're going to go into the moves list, find a move that we want to use. How about this 2-1-2-1 string here? That should be fine. Alright, so now Kung Lao should come up to us and try to do the 2-1-2-1. Oh, I do this all the darn time. Make sure that your recording is set to on. Should be a little green arrow there. Like I said, I make that mistake all the darn time. So let's go back. He should be running up to us now. Okay, so here he comes, coming in hot. Boom. There we go. We used our combo breaker by pressing forward and block. And again, it's going to use all 3 bars of your meter. You can see your meter strain in the bottom there. So just be wary. It's expensive, but it is something that you can use. A lot of these things on the bottom I don't use. I haven't really messed around with them yet, so I'm not too familiar with those. You can remap your controls if you like, if you don't like where a certain button is. The only button that I changed on here is the cameo button, because I like my cameo to be L1 instead of R1. In MKX, you used L1 to control Quan Chi's bat, and it just felt like the right thing to do. Input window timing I set to medium. This kind of like gives you a little bit of leeway for like how accurate you have to be for your special moves, like your back forwards and whatnot. I find if the window's too short, your special moves don't come out, and if your input window is too long, it's too much of an, it's hard to actually get them to trigger. So I keep it a medium, and that's been more than fine for me. Release check, I don't know why they keep putting this in the game as default, because all it really does is mess up your combos. If you used Kenshi, because he has a puppet that he uses, maybe this might be beneficial. But yeah, if I were you, especially if you're just beginning, I would turn it off. It'll be on by default, but it will save you a lot of like weird input. Alternate controls. So let me show you an example here. So I go into moves list, and my special move for air straight skull is down, forward, and square, right? If I change my alternate controls on, that move is going to be now down, down, forward, forward, square. Now, this may seem to you like, why would you do this? It makes, you know, this obviously is making these moves way more complicated than they were before. And you're right. Don't use it. Where you would want to use this is if you, for whatever reason, are using the analog stick on your controller, or if you have yourself one of these bad boys. Ta-da! I use this for Street Fighter. I don't use it for Mortal Kombat. I prefer controller. Because you're doing more of a half circle, quarter circle motion, would make it a lot easier for that application. So input shortcuts just help you a little bit to input your special moves. It's kind of like a shortcut. Makes things easier. I like it. I keep it on. Button shortcuts, I keep it on. So instead of doing the throw button, for example, you can do 1+3 or X and square together at the exact same time. That will also do a throw. I keep that on every once in a while for some reason. I just feel like inputting it that way. I don't know why, but... And vibration, whether you want vibration on or off. Take it or leave it, I don't really care. Alright, so just a quick recap here. We went over practice mode, how to use it, some of the main things that you'll be using going forward. We went over what armor is, we went over your fatal blows, and we taught you about the combo breaker. So that's it. I think you've done it. You've made it to the end of the beginner series. We're ready to get into the meat and potatoes, which is in the moves list, which is, what are all these numbers? Oh my goodness. You're going to learn about them. I'm going to help you. But that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like because it really helps me out, and subscribe if you haven't, because I make new videos almost every single day. Hashtag Bonehawks and all that stuff, and we'll see all you Bonehawks in the next video.
Accept your death.